We are now talking to Cal Poly offensive line recruit Jake Trachtman. What's going on, Jake?
How's it going, guys? Can you guys hear me all right?
We hear you good, man. Speedy,
Good,
we
good.
need to, I think because of all the COVID-19 and the situations, everybody likes to grow their beard. And Speedy, look at you, man. You're pretty much shaved and ready to go. And we got this guy who looks like a werewolf. I sit next to a guy that looks like a complete werewolf. So, could you imagine waking up to this?
I am a big night person, though, so he's not wrong on that.
No, you are a big night person. You're a big everything.
I know
person.
that. I was telling him.
Oh, well, thank you. As you guys know, we are talking to Cal Poly offensive line recruit Jake Trachtman. Now, Jake, how are you and your family doing with this COVID-19 situation?
Family and everyone's doing good. We all kind of stick to ourselves and don't really cause a lot of conflict with each other as much as I thought we would, which is pretty nice. So
Well, you don't want to stick next to him, okay? Because he smells, okay? I'm just telling you. I'm sitting right next to him. Before the show, I sprayed him with some Lysol, so we're trying to clean him, right? What are you making those faces for?
If you sprayed me with Lysol, I wouldn't be able to see.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the recruitment process? Cal Poly reached out to you. There were a bunch of schools looking at you. You're a 3-star recruit. Why Cal Poly? Out of all the schools that were looking at you and trying to recruit you, what made you want to go to Cal Poly?
first of all, thank you to all the coaches that recruited me. The recruiting process is something I will never forget. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of uncertainty. I chose Cal Poly over all the schools because Cal Poly gave me a full ride opportunity, and I felt the best connection with the coaching staff there. And Cal Poly has a perfect balance of academics, athletics, and partying, I guess. Or not partying, but friends and that. And location is a big plus, too, about Cal Poly.
So you actually were also recruited by a Power 5 team in Colorado as well. So, I mean, that probably had to make the decision a lot tougher for you, choosing Cal Poly, who, again, it's close to where you live, so it makes kind of sense in that sense. But, I mean, picking an FCS school over a Power 5 school was definitely something that had to be a tough decision. Was it as tough of a decision as you probably made it out to be, or was it something that was a no-brainer for you?
No, actually, it was a no-brainer. I also got a preferred walk-on to Cal Berkeley, so I decided to choose the money because going into the recruiting process, my goal was always to get my education paid for, so my parents don't have to worry about me because I have a twin brother and a little sister who's a junior, so I'd rather have them be able to choose where they want to go and not be so selfish with my parents' money and want to go to Boulder or Cal, which is a more expensive option.
We are talking to Cal Poly offensive line recruit Jake Trachtman. Now, Jake, the offensive line position is a very important position. I don't think people realize, I believe, the 2 or 3 most important positions in college football and professional football is the offensive line, offensive tackle, the cornerback, and the quarterback. When you look at the position and the way you play the game, you have to be big in stature, you have to be fast, you have to have good feet. What stands out to your game out of all the offensive linemen that you've seen play in the NFL and the NCAA over the years that really stands out? What's your strength to the position?
I feel like the game is changing now. You can't just be like big and fat and slow. Like you got to be able to move now. So I feel like for my size and how I've been training this whole off season during the coronavirus, I can move for someone really well my size, and pad level is also very important too for someone my size, and can't let anyone get underneath my pads and push me back. So probably my physicality is also part of my game too that I really enjoy and really thrive at.
Yeah, a big reason for that has been the spread offense, RPO offense takeover that has gone over college football. Well, it was already a mainstay in college football, but high school football and now the NFL has become a big deal. So have you played in any of those types of offenses? And if so, do you think that's the biggest reason conceptually for that change?
Yeah, our offenses at Crow Mar, we run the spread offense, we run RPOs, we run everything. Our O-line can do anything that the coaches tell us to, and our players can do anything that the coaches want us to. So, but I think the RPO game has completely changed. As you've seen it change in the NFL from Vince Lombardi era until now with Lamar Jackson being the dual threat quarterback that he is, and kind of how the game has progressed.
Now, Jake, I know you watch professional football. I know you watch the NFL, and I know you watch college football. Is there a particular player that really stands out to you that you try to compare your game to?
I really like Andrew Whitworth on the Rams because I'm a big Rams guy, and I always watched him play when he was at Cincinnati, and I always like the way he plays. He reminds me of myself.
You could see a future Hall of Famer in Andrew Whitworth. He's been
Yes,
tremendous.
no doubt, no doubt.
So, growing up in California, I mean, Southern California, not really known as a football part of the country. They develop baseball very well. They develop basketball. What is it like culturally down there with football and also with sports culture in general?
California, California, Florida, and Texas are actually really big for high school football. So a lot of kids that we have 4 Division I kids on my team right now with offers. We have a guy that's committed to Harvard. One of my other buddies committed to SLO like me, who's safety, and then a defensive tackle, defensive end who's committed to Army. Mm-hmm. And college football and football is pretty big down here in Southern California, especially where I live. Super competitive. We have Mater Dei and St. John Bosco, who are always number 1 and number 2 nationally ranked for high school football. And I know a lot of kids also get recruited out here for baseball as well. But I'm not so familiar with the baseball part of California.
Jake, when you look at your position and you're 6'7", 285 pounds, most of these offensive tackles, they're bigger, they're stronger, and you're still young. You're about 17 years old. You're still growing into your body. Do you see yourself as a professional athlete in the future because of your size and your ability at the position?
Honestly, if I put my mind to it, if anyone works hard and puts goals, and they can pretty much do anything they want to. At the start of quarantine, I was probably mentioned like 215, and now I'm up to 315 in a matter of 5 months.
Really?
Yeah. So, and I think I'm now 6'8". I'm probably I've gone taller too.
Really?
And my
Look
weight's
at you, man.
290. So, honestly, the point of college football is to get you ready. You develop as you go older because your years in college football is where you grow the most and where the most testosterone is flowing. So that's where guys really put on their true size, is during college. So I'm fairly confident that size won't be a problem for me in college because everyone says I can probably put another 30, 40 pounds in my frame and be 330 pounds or 320.
So, well, Jake, I will tell you, there's a lot. Size wouldn't be a problem for you, but size is a problem for this guy right here. So
yeah.
Look at this guy.
That's why I'm not recruited to play Division I college football.
Well, in any kind of way, size doesn't matter with you. Okay, so there you go, Speedy.
Sure, we'll go with that. So, Jake, being that you're playing for an FCS team now, is there any particular FBS opponent that you always grew up watching in college football? And also, if there is one FBS opponent that maybe not, obviously not this year because they're all conference schedules, but in the future that you would want to face, who would it be and why? I mean, some of them will pull off the upset. Liberty did against Baylor. Troy did against LSU. There have been some once in a while. I don't know if Appalachian State was in the FCS when they beat Michigan, but
I think they might be FBS. I think they're FBS.
Well, they're FBS now. I didn't know if they were then, but I mean, what school, if you had a choice to pick, who would you want to play and who did you root for?
Oh man, I think I've always watched the. It probably got to be an SEC school because they always get like their stadiums are packed like 80,000 plus. So I'd probably either want to play Georgia or Clemson or Alabama. Honestly, I don't even know. Any one of those 3 I'd be okay with just to get there in the atmosphere. And football is literally everyone loves, breathes, and eats football down there in the South. So that'd be pretty cool to go in an atmosphere like that and play.
Oh, I would love to go to an Alabama game, a live Alabama game, and watch the Alabama Crimson Tide fans just go crazy. But I don't think we're going to see that for a very long time. So I don't think you're going to hear a lot of fans screaming over there in Alabama for at least the next year. But as you guys know, we are talking to Cal Poly offensive line recruit Jake Trachtman. Now, Jake, I've been watching football my whole life, and it's amazing how tall, how big these athletes are getting now. Mekhi Beckham from the New York Jets, 6'8", 364 pounds, can run a 40 in 5 seconds flat. Some people say they've seen him running in 4.8. when you look at the speed of the game and the athletic ability of some of these guys that you're seeing linebackers that are 6'6", 260 pounds that can jump over an offensive line and run a 40 in like 4 seconds flat, 4.3, 4.4, which is ridiculous. Do you think that because of the game and the way it's transitioned and changed, does it make the game more fun to watch in your eyes as an offensive lineman, or does it make it harder to play?
I think it makes the game more fun to watch because when you have a bunch of athletic individuals that are all world-class, top-notch athletes, I think it makes the game way more fun to watch and it makes it more interesting, and it's not just a blowout every single time because these guys that are playing in the college level, like these guys they've been training every day for the past, I don't know, since they were freshmen in high school. Mm-hmm. So they know what they're doing, they're ready for it, and they want it just as bad as everyone else. So it'll make the game definitely way more fun to watch, in my opinion.
So from a player safety standpoint, the NFL and college football to an extent have tried to eliminate a lot of low blocks. They already got rid of the chop block completely for both special teams and for conventional offense. And obviously, I'm sure they have taught you not to do that anyway, but especially now with these leagues not doing it, how has that changed the way you've developed as an offensive lineman, knowing those rules?
My high school, we haven't really been we don't really use the chop block technique because our team emphasizes speed and quickness, so we want to get there with our feet and not having to focus on just diving at someone's knees, but rather getting there with our feet first and then our hands. So we don't have to use that block. But I don't think it would have that big an effect on me at the high school level, but it may at the college level.
We are talking to Cal Poly offensive line recruit Jake Trachtman. So if anybody doesn't know who we're interviewing, it's Jake Trachtman. So a lot of people ask me, why do you keep repeating yourself? Because some people say, who are they interviewing? Yeah. So there you go. It's Jake Trachtman. Now, Jake, I've watched, like I said, I've been watching football my whole life, and I've try to compare and contrast certain players at their positions, and you said you try to mimic Whitworth.
Andrew Whitworth.
And Whitworth. So when you look at the game and you look at your position, did you ever think growing up at your position, playing pee-wee football or however when you started playing football, did you ever see yourself playing another position, a quarterback position, defensive lineman? What made you decide to be an offensive lineman? Was it your father? Was it your coach in pee-wee? Who really transformed you into an offensive tackle from another position that you could have played?
I've always been an offensive lineman. Never thought once about being a tight end or a skill guy. So in Pee Wee, I guess I was just bigger than everyone else naturally. So they just put me at offensive line, and ever since that 7th grade year, my first year of tackle football, I've always just played offensive line, whether it's guard or tackle.
If there was one position that you would have wanted to play at that time, what would it be and why?
Probably quarterback because I got a pretty good arm. I'd say so. Quarterback would be really fun.